Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Dumpster Diaries yet again. As always, I am your host, Justin Allen, and I am here with...
Moses Wartooth.
And we've got some good stuff for you today. And like we promised you to begin with, for the year 2024, we're trying to start off a little more positive. So we got a video that we found on Instagram. I guess the best way to say, if you think you're having a bad day at work, watch this guy. Plug the hole, plug the hole.
Other dude's like, nope.
Yeah, man, so if you think you're having a bad day on Monday, watch that video. I don't know, what do you think? You think it was a brewery that he was working at? It had to be a brewery, right?
Yeah, that was a beer. I wonder what the amount of pressure was that got slapped into his face.
Oh, man, that reminds me. I was watching I don't even remember what TV show it was. It was almost like a 1,000 Ways to Die sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it had this guy, man, and he was working on a boiler, like doing boiler maintenance or whatever. And one of the pipes, something busted while he was working on it. And it was like water that was just below the point of boiling, just spewed all over his body. And then it, like, he was wearing like his like jumper suit or whatever, like his work uniform.
Yeah.
And so all that like blistering hot water just like stuck to his skin and he couldn't get it off or whatever. And the dude ended up having to have like skin grafts over like 90% of his body.
Jesus.
Shit, dude. Yeah, man. You ever like get like a steam burn like slightly on your finger while you're cooking and you're like, oh fuck, it's the end of the world, you know? Like imagine some
get on
shit
your whole
like
body.
Yeah. Now, I mean that'd probably be like my heaven right there. I'd be like, say like,
yeah, the beer thing
just
was
drinking it.
No comparison to getting scalding ass water all.
I wonder how much that cost them. You know what I mean?
Probably a good bit. I mean, that was a lot of beer.
Because it's not just the amount of beer, but it's probably like the time it took to make that beer. You know what I mean? Because I think you had to go like at least a week for the fermentation process just for beer alone.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. They probably lost a good chunk of change or whatever. But I like how he's like trying to shove a crowbar in there just to be like, plug it with something. Come on, man.
And the other dude comes up and he's like gonna help him, and then he sees that he can't help, so he's like, I ain't getting fucking wet. Like,
fuck that. I ain't doing this shit, dude. Oh man, yeah, dude. So I don't know. We got some pretty good videos that we kind of want to go through, but
there's a lot of interesting shit in the news lately.
Yeah. I know last episode we touched on the Super Bowl because obviously like the Super Bowl had ended right when we were filming or whatever, but I didn't catch like the beginning of it or whatever because I was just running late to a friend's house. But you brought up the video that Kanye West made.
Yeah, at some point during the Super Bowl, he paid $7 million for a commercial, but as he will say, he spent all the money on the commercial. So
yeah,
go ahead and watch it, and then I will inform you of how well it did.
Yeah,
so,
which is surprising.
This Ye, and it's my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is, I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com. And I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen, and I got some shoes, and that's it.
So he spent $7 million on that.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty, man.
Okay, so out of that $7 million, so he was promoting his website, Yeezy.com. Within 24 hours, he had made a profit of $19 million.
In 24 hours, he made $19 million clean and clear.
Yes.
Jesus
So
Christ.
in that 24-hour period, the traffic on his website, he ended up having over 296,000 sales on his website after that commercial within a 24-hour period.
God damn, brother. Like, that is a lot. And then, like, because you watch the video, right? And, like, you're like, okay, like, this is stupid. Like,
It looks like he's filming it in the back of a taxi cab or something.
You know? And he's like, oh, we spent $7 million on the filming location, but we never actually spent any money on the commercial. So
well, no, he spent $7 million to put the ad on.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. And but he's like, yo, like, we never actually like really made, like, we blew our money. We couldn't make an actual commercial for this or whatever. But then that kind of like makes me think that like there might be some genius behind that.
Oh yeah, I mean that,
because whatever that you just saw obviously worked, man.
yeah.
You know, and it's just is he a genius or a madman? I don't know, you know, but like,
I mean, he's the king of pulling weird stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look how he dresses in public. He's normally just totally, completely covered up. He looks like a Resident Evil villain or some shit, dude. Like,
I like that interview he did with Alex Jones,
where he was fully just masked up.
I won't say I like it, but it was entertaining to say the least. Yeah, but he was just fully masked up, like a morph suit, like,
yeah,
and he just kept going on hating on like how the Jews run Hollywood and like all this, just saying crazy shit.
Well, you bring up a good point. He was so anti-Semitic and everyone fucking hated him, but the Super Bowl had no issue taking his money and putting him on, giving him a commercial.
Yeah, I know,
so
right?
That goes to show, I guess, money buys everything.
All that shit just went out the window, right?
Yeah.
And like that whole,
and I guess the 300,000 people that bought shit off his website don't care anymore either.
There was a like Stop Jewish Hate commercial on the Super Bowl too.
Was there really?
Did you see that
They
one?
should have aired that back to back. They should have played Yeez and then immediately followed it with the Stop Jewish Hate commercial.
Yeah, dude. It was like I'm trying to remember. It was like this middle-aged dude. All right, so it was like the suburbs, right? Single-family homes next to each other. This middle-aged guy's like working on like his truck or whatever, has the hood open or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then he looks over and he sees his neighbor, like the woman and I guess like her daughter or something. And she's like telling the kid like, just get in the car, don't look at it. And the kid's asking like, what does that mean or whatever. And someone like had spray painted a bunch of anti-Semitic shit on their like, garage door, like a swastika, and it was like something about like hating Jews or whatever. And then she would like had this terrified look in her face. And then they said that in the commercial they said like one out of four Jews experience like some sort of anti-Semitism throughout their life or whatever. Anyway, so the woman leaves, I guess, takes kid to school, goes to work, whatever, and he goes over there with like a bucket of paint and paints over it, and then goes back to working on his truck. And so when she pulls up, like it's completely gone. And then she looks down at his shoes and she can see the paint, and then she just mouths like "thank you," and then it just says like "Stop Jewish Hate" or whatever.
What if
like,
the sleeve of his shirt had like red paint from the swastika? He was like, sorry, I didn't know. He's like, I didn't know you had kids. My bad.
He did it. He's like the cause and the solution to the problem.
He spray painted all that shit, and then he saw the family and kind of felt guilty, so he just cleaned it up afterwards.
It would have been funny if they would have ran like fucking Kanye West like commercial like back to back with that shit. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
But the thing that made me be like, all right, whatever, is one in every four Jewish people who experience hate in their entire lifetime.
Yeah, it's specifically anti-Semitism.
No shit.
Yeah,
well, that goes for any
demographic,
race.
demographic,
anything at all.
You could just be like a straight white dude.
Straight white dude's getting shit on more than anybody right now.
It's the cool thing to do, right? You know, but I mean, like literally that's just like a part
because
of
that's part of even. I guarantee you, 25% of that was probably Jew on Jew, like.
Yeah, dude, and like we're not like obviously condoning like hate or violence.
No, I'm saying everybody gets hated on.
But like you're always, no matter where the fuck you're at, man, you're always gonna have somebody who's gonna shit on you.
I mean, have you not? If you go to a public junior high school, you are gonna get shit on for whatever you think you are at that time.
True.
Like,
Getting pushed in lockers and stuff.
Yeah, stupid white boy. Like. Doesn't matter. Yelling at somebody to go eat a burrito, like literally. It doesn't matter who you are. Like you're gonna get fucked with. That's
literally what it was like in middle school for me. Like just getting slammed in the lockers by rednecks and shit.
Hey, white boy.
Fag was usually the word they used, but it was like I'm not even gay. Like, get out of here, fag. It's like trying to shove me in a locker.
Do you remember when gay was like just a very common schoolyard insult?
Yeah, it was an insult. It wasn't lifestyle.
Yeah, we didn't even know what that word. We didn't even know what literally being gay meant.
That's gay.
Yeah.
And then it became like super sensitive. You can't do that because I'll use that sometimes like on campus, like school I go to. I'll be like, oh man, that is like the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I'll be talking about like an assignment or something.
Yeah,
you know,
that has
nothing to do with people whatsoever. Yeah. And then like some of the younger like Gen Zers and stuff, they'll be like, you can't say that. And I'm like, well.
My bad. That's a homosexual assignment.
Yeah. Well, that's out there. You know, but I don't know. They're just like overly sensitive about that kind of shit too.
Well, hell, it's like most. Well, I guess a lot of words have like people used to say fag all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's like a word that you don't ever hear anymore.
I've said it quite a bit on this show.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but it's all about like the context of what it's being used. You know what I mean? Like, are you directing it towards someone as like a form of hate? And that's not acceptable, of course. But like, if it's in the context of a joke or you're being passive, like where it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you're
Like-
saying that's retarded.
Yeah, like I'm not talking about like
A
the
person.
differently abled, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that's just retarded, like, you know. But apparently you can't say that word anymore either, so I don't know. I'm just, you know.
It's just words, man.
Yeah. And then like I don't know how much, I mean, there's obviously like shit, like there's real like violence against like ethnic groups like that occur, like, you know, hate and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you saw these students, like, you know, on campus, these Jewish students, like they were getting severely harassed when like the Palestine Gaza shit was kicking off, right? Obviously that's real shit. But every time something happens, man, there's always like a huge movement that starts behind it, right? And it could be like one or two, like it could just be a handful of isolated events, and like these people are very good at making it seem like it is the entire country. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, dog, no, not at all. Not at all. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's always like an agenda with that shit or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, from racism to gun control, like any of that shit.
It's like, I mean, that's why I'll shit on that Stop Asian Hate movement all fucking day, dude. Because it was like the biggest bullshit one of them all, dude. And that's why it was a fly-by-night one. It, as quickly as it appeared, it disappeared, man. And because they took like obviously a few isolated events of like ignorant people committing acts of violence, crimes against other people. Was it racially motivated? Sure. Some of it probably wasn't. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But the thing is like when you're talking about a country that has almost 400 million people and you're talking about half a dozen events spread across the
And now
entire
suddenly America is just racist as shit about Asian people.
yeah, dude. So I was like, whatever. And then when you look in the statistics, it's like actually like out of all the demographics, like Asian Americans typically outperform every demographic to include white people.
Yeah.
So
It's like, what are you going to make fun of? Haha, you make more money than me? Haha,
on like net
you're
worth,
better than math.
net worth, income, education, you name it, man. Like even the ages at which they own properties and stuff like that. Like it.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before, but like they hold themselves to a higher standard for the most part.
But I don't know. It might just be the universities doing this shit. Probably in cahoots with like social media. It's becoming cool to be a victim.
Yeah.
And that shit is so fucking annoying, man. And like, so I think a lot of like these like second or really like these third generation Americans that were coming into like the universities and stuff, they were like, well, I got to be a part of something. And this is the easiest thing for me to be a part of.
Because it requires nothing.
You know? But also, I don't know, man, people also need to quit being bitches too. Like, we need to go back to our roots and like, understand that like as Americans, like whether you like it or not, we've only had fucking 10 years of peace in our entire like history, right?
It isn't what either one of us would lie.
Yeah. We are conquerors, okay? Like, we just take shit and then
We're
we
shit
control.
starters, too.
Yeah, you know? And so you just need to understand that is who your people are, man. Like, we're not like some peaceful living, like, oh no, like free loving hippies, like everyone in the world can get along. We might say some bullshit to like the United Nations and stuff, but like sure as fucking shit, when something gets interesting to us, we're gonna fucking launch an illegal war, which is exactly what happened in fucking Iraq. Because George Bush went to the fucking UN and was like, hey, let's vote on this. Let's see if this can be a legal war. And every motherfucker said no. And then he was like, well, fuck
He's
y'all.
like, ooh, already did it.
He's like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then right after that, Britain was like, all right, man, we'll back you up. And then a couple of people started falling in line.
Well,
after
shit,
that.
take a look at what's going on right now. We're bombing Yemen. We're bombing Iran. We're bombing fucking Palestine. Like, fuck, dude.
And the Brits are like helping us with all that Yemen shit too.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Like, god damn it. America is like the younger brother that's a troublemaker. And Britain's like the older sibling. Like, god damn it, I'll bail you out. He's like, come on, I gotta back you up. Like, I'll help you out.
I do like how like a lot of these like Western countries will preach like very positive things, you know, like peace and prosperity and like, you know, like free market capitalism and stuff like that, right? And then like as soon as you fuck with their money, it's like a straight up like, yo, we're just gonna fucking kill you. like all that shit just goes out the window. All that shit in Yemen, 'cause they started fucking with our boats, and they were like, no, you ain't doing this, dog.
Houthis?
Keep wording that. Who?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you turn is into was. You know?
Who the fuck you think you are?
Dog, I wish I could be in that fucking White House room. Not like with Biden right now, but if I could have been there with like Trump either one of the Bushes, man, I think that would have been, Reagan especially, that would have been a fucking killer ass. Be like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You know, like, imagine being there when Dick Cheney was trying to push all the, enhanced interrogation techniques or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you know, it's like calling in all these lawyers
He, like,
and
has
shit.
a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's not-
waterboarding shit.
It's not torture. It's enhanced interrogation techniques, and it occurs off of U.S. soil.
They have hired actors, and they're, like, waterboarding him, and the person gets up, and he's like, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, dude. It's been wild, man. I don't know. I still think Dick Cheney's like one of the wildest, craziest motherfuckers in the world, dude. Like, I mean, for real. Like, at the time, like, fuck, man. Because I've read like a lot of books about that administration and stuff, and I mean, he ran shit from behind the scenes like a gangster. Like, I mean, he was president. Like, I don't give a shit what anyone fucking says. Dude, like, the director of the FBI had to check in with Dick Cheney before he went and talked to George Bush. And it's like literally the director of the FBI directly answers to the president. Like, there is no in between on that shit.
Yeah.
And then, like, he would be like, hey, the dude came in one day, and then, like, Cheney, like, fucking grabbed his arm and was like, you don't ever walk into his office before you check in with mine first. And I was like, God damn, when I was reading that shit in that book, I was like, what the fuck, man? He had everybody scared. Like, literally, they said they were scared of him. Because he was just like a big bully and shit. And then and like, I mean, he had like his points, I guess, you know, like he was just like, hey, like, we're at war. Like, there's all this crazy shit going on. Like, these are extenuating circumstances. And then like the whole time he's like telling people this shit and stuff. He's got like fucking maps of the Middle East, and it's like sections like cut off for like, here's Exxon Mobil, here's Texaco, like where he's going to give all his money shit, you know? So, but hey, whatever, you know, he's, what is it? It's not the hero you want, but it's the hero you need, or whatever. You know?
I just picture him like sitting in a base, like a fucking throne, smoking a Cuban cigar,
Yeah.
and he's like, "So, you want to talk to George in there?
Dog,
What are you gonna fucking say?"
there's a good, like, because I know people don't like fucking reading anymore, but there's a good movie that like goes through his entire life. It's called Vice, like VICE or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Bale actually plays Dick Cheney. He gained like fucking 70 pounds for that role. And it just goes, I mean, it's pretty good. Like, if you don't want to read into it, like, you can just watch the movie, but it's pretty good. And it just talks about how he just like, he stacked that government, man. Like, anybody that could be any opposition, like, he had them like promoted or like moved to like another yeah, and he just, anyone like direct line to the courts, like who was appointed in the Supreme Court, all this shit, like he had it all stacked in his favor, man. And he like, so literally no one would tell him no. And then George Bush would be like eating Skittles or something, and
Yeah, he's like,
what's going on?
"What are we doing today, boss?"
And yeah,
He's
dude.
like, "Can I push the button yet?"
Yeah, there's like a whole scene in that movie Vice where like George Bush goes to him and is like, hey, like, you know, Derek, I want you to be my VP. And then Cheney like is giving him this whole spiel about how like basically I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company right now, and like the vice presidency is more of a symbolic job than anything. And he starts like stroking Bush's ego, and he's like, you know, you're gonna be busy, you're gonna have all this stuff. He was like, so if I'm gonna do it, he was like, there's certain things like I think he called it like minor details I would like to be in charge of, and one of them was the entire Department of Defense. And Bush was like, yeah, okay.
He's like, "Sounds good, man."
Yeah, because I believe, if I remember right, Cheney was Secretary of Defense for a little while.
So how did Bush know Cheney?
Oh, they went back. I mean, well, Cheney had been in politics for a long fucking time, man. And he was like chief of sorry. He was like chief of staff of the White House for a while. I mean, he just did a bunch of shit, and he constantly was doing like lobbying and stuff. And then so like a lot of like the private enterprise stuff he did, it actually came later in his life and stuff. So, but he actually got started like right out of college or whatever. He went straight into like working for these politicians.
Oh, okay.
A famous one was like Donald Rumsfeld or whatever, and he that guy really pushed like Vietnam and shit. Yeah, dude, like it was a whole thing. But so he knew he was in those circles, and he knew like George Bush Sr. And so he knew George Bush Jr. like when he was like
As the crazy cocaine kid.
yeah, like early 20s, being drunk as hell,
Yeah.
like, fuck you, Dad, you can't tell me what to do, you know. But if you believe that interview with Tucker Carlson, according to Putin, George Bush Jr. was a highly intelligent man,
Yeah.
and that whole persona was just fake or whatever. Now, who knows? I mean, it could have all been a scam or whatever. But to bring it back all full circle back to the Kansas City Chiefs, because we got another video we got to watch. One thing like I noticed too, man, like so it with this Kanye West commercial, if they would have put it to that like Stop Jewish Hate commercial, they would ran them back to back. That would have been great. And then also I do find it kind of hypocritical and funny because on both end zones it just said end racism, right?
Yeah.
But then you have Kanye West with his history. Literally, you're like, oh hell yeah, give us $7 million. Like it's cool. Like
I mean, is he racist or is he just crazy?
I think he's just crazy.
I mean, I know he's legitimately bipolar, so
I think he's like actually insane.
like,
I mean, we've talked about it before. Like once you get to a certain level of wealth, I think you're just so out of touch with reality that like you just don't understand how normal people are.
But I mean, he has mental diagnosis. Like he's diagnosed with bipolar. So I mean, who knows what else he has too?
I think he's on drugs, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he is. He's fucking on SSRIs and shit. Like, that shit.
I think recreationally, like he's on drugs, man. I think he's just like smacked out of his fucking mind on shit, dude. He's taking some high-powered barbiturates or something like in his free time, you know. But anyway, you want to move on to the next subject, man? Next video? Or do you wanna keep shitting on this?
This is a little dark.
Yeah, we just went on a whole ramble. Like as soon as they opened the episode, we're like, we're gonna be positive. It's 2024. Show one 30-second video of something that's minor, like lightly
Just
funny,
kinda funny.
and then you just go into like a history of the United States. Or like, yeah, you were conquerors, and this is what we've done, and fuck you, whatever. Hell yeah, Dick Cheney.
Cheney's an asshole.
All right, man. So, well, this is gonna get dark too, actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This just coming up is not too good, but we will continue with some positivity after this shit.
So, one thing that I thought was interesting, man, after the Super Bowl, and this got, like I said, this came out after we filmed our last episode because that was right when the Super Bowl ended. There was a parade in Kansas City, and there was a shooting that occurred, a mass shooting. 2 juveniles who haven't been named, photos haven't been released, probably because they're underage or whatever. They were taken into custody. I believe it was like 22 people were killed. And but we'll watch the video, man. We'll kind of pull it up or whatever, then we'll talk about this.
This morning, a pair of juveniles now charged in the deadly shooting that killed 1 person, injured close to 2 dozen, then sent thousands of people scrambling for cover during the Kansas City Super Bowl victory parade. The 2 held on gun charges and resisting arrest, and according to officials, more charges could be on the way. The barrage of gunfire just as the parade was ending, and this morning, support pouring in for the victims hurt during Wednesday's shooting, and much of it coming from the very team that came to celebrate the moments those shots were fired. Chiefs star quarterback Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany visiting the hospital where several children continue to recover. The couple at the bedside of 2 young girls whose family says they were shot in the legs. One of the girls cast appearing to have been signed by Mahomes.
Okay, so one person.
Only one person got
killed.
One person was killed and 22 were injured.
Something like that, yeah, man. So, like, I mean, it was a lot of people were fucking injured, but I thought more people were killed when I first looked into it. But
how are the
good thing we watched that video. Like, correct that.
Good.
You know?
It's good that outcome happened, but like, how are they that bad of a shot?
Yeah, like for real.
You know
I mean, like you're literally like surrounded by people. Like when the shots first fired,
how
you
was that
circle.
not way worse than it was?
I don't know, man. I mean, it could be the whole thing. Maybe they weren't shooting to kill, man.
I guess,
know?
but like
there was a lot of soldiers in Vietnam, like they intentionally like missed. Because I think it was like something like 60 or 70% of soldiers like shot in the trees and shit.
They're in a fucking war, not a goddamn Super Bowl
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's getting hard to tell the difference between the jungles of Vietnam and the streets of Kansas City right about now. Straight up guerrilla warfare tactics taking place, dude.
But yeah,
yeah, dude. I don't know, man. They said like one of the victims I was reading was a fucking 8-year-old kid, dude, and it's just like, what kind of
fucking... We had said over half of them were under 16.
Yeah, and it's like, what kind of...
at least none of them, at least only one did actually die. At least the rest of them are injured.
I just don't get it, man. I mean...
But that sounds...
I don't get the mass shootings that occur. Because we talked about this thing on the last episode, right? It was like, yo, back in the day, there was like always like some crazy ideology, like a manifesto, like... obviously not condoning it, saying it's right, but it was like a well thought out belief, and there was like a reason why they felt they needed to do this shit, right?
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't justified, but they had their reasons. I mean,
all these mass shooters, a lot of it was snipers and shit too, and stuff, man, and then like domestic terrorists and shit. And then now it's just like literally kids just running into a crowd and just spraying them fucking.
I mean, I wonder. That just seems weird. Like that amount of people were hurt, but like maybe do you think they got into a fight with each other and pulled guns on each other and were shooting at each other?
Could be. I don't know.
I mean, that would be some kid shit.
Yeah, and you never know what.
Because I feel like if two kids plan to do that, I think they would have been planning to kill.
Yeah,
because it just doesn't make sense.
And then it's like, one, it's Kansas City, so then two, like, why the fuck are like juveniles packing heat? You know what I mean? I mean,
Kansas City.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's a city.
I've been to Kansas. Like, it seemed like a pretty fucking chill place to me. I don't know. Maybe it's changed over the last decade since I was there.
I mean, I've never been to Kansas City. So.
Dog, it's Midwest. It's just cornfields and flat
Not
ground.
Not in
dude.
the city.
Well, I mean, like, okay, all right, you got me, all right. You know, I was like, yo, y'all some hard motherfucking rednecks up here, dude. But I don't know, man. It's fucking sad. It's unfortunate, dude. But one thing that is interesting that I've been kind of paying attention to is in the beginning of the year, like by the first quarter of, this would actually be last year. First quarter of last year, we had I believe it was the first quarter of last year, we had broke the record for the previous year of mass shootings. And like within the first like 3 months or some shit, we had like over 200 mass shootings in our country, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't hear a dick about it. And then it starts getting close to like election time, shit starts coming up, and then all of a sudden shit like this starts resurfacing or whatever. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. It's just coincidental to me.
Well, I mean, the media pushes what they need to push.
Like, there may be a lot of like shootings that only get covered by like a local news station where only like 4 people got shot, but like they're like, nah, that doesn't really fit our narrative right now, so we're just gonna talk about carbon emissions, you know. So it could be a lot of that, man, or whatever. But I don't know, dude. I just don't understand it, man. Because like when I was like 6, I never like thought about shit like that. I never knew anyone who really fucking did.
No.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. But anyway, I guess we can move on to something to make fucking fun of.
Yeah, because holy shit, this is ridiculous. Like, if I would be proud of us if we made this into one of our reels, but it's legitimate information. So we like.
Because we've been talking about doing like starting sketch comedy and stuff, and like I could see this being like if I didn't know this individual worked for the government, I would think this is sketch comedy.
Yeah, if you, it would be hilarious if it wasn't real, because it's just pathetic and weird now. Like, holy shit.
Fuck it, dude.
Let's watch it.
Let's play this shit.
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. This Black History Month, I'm pleased to partner with OMH in advancing better health through better understanding for Black communities. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change. Visit hhs.gov for more information and tune in next Thursday to hear from another HHS leader on how you can contribute to advancing better health for Black communities.
For more information.
All right.
I don't want to say anything. It's like I'm already just like sitting here like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say anything.
65% of Black Americans
are anxious
about global warming. You know why? Because they watch fucking CNN and get scared because that's what they fucking fearmonger into them.
I just feel like these statistics are fucking made up, dude.
Dude, yeah.
Get fucked. Get fucked, man. Come on, dude. Are you shitting me?
If 65% of Black people are anxious or nervous about global warming, then it's probably 85% of white people because they're always complaining about that stupid shit.
Yeah, you want to know the only people I've ever like heard actually give a fuck about it or like try to like, you know, bitch about it or whatever. It's always been like super liberal white
people. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I've
never seen anyone besides a white person bitch about global warming. Maybe they're trying to scare African Americans into buying electric cars. That could be a thing. they're smart on vehicles. They're not gonna buy an electric shitbox. They're like, but they're like, if we scare them into them,
yeah, we can do this, like push a whole agenda. Just like, didn't they try to scare it? Like they tried to scare like the black community hardcore during COVID and stuff because they were like, they were like, it hardcore like will fuck you up compared to any other demographic or whatever, you know.
So it's like they fearmonger. They bully them. Actually, they are bullying African Americans.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't that crazy?
We're the racists.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. That dude with boobs, man, is
to even say like, imagine if I went on there and I was like, oh, tornadoes affect the Jews more than anyone else.
Oh, dude, they beat you in the streets.
More Jews are likely to live in a neighborhood where tornadoes are gonna come. Like,
they would murder you.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you'd be like on trial.
Hate trial.
Kill this man.
Did you watch the Super Bowl commercial? Stop Jewish hate.
End racism. You're the problem. God damn, bro. You know, it's like I watch shit like this and I'm like, holy fuck, we actually won World War II. Like, you know what I mean?
We were different people back then.
I know, man. Like, dude, it's just like, god damn, bro. Like, how the fuck? I don't even know how to
unpack. We've fallen so far.
Every day we fall further and further from God's grace.
That's for fucking sure. Yeah.
I don't even know how the fuck we got here, dude. I don't think anyone really knows.
Easy times, nothing to worry. Like, everything was too easy. That's what. Whenever there's nothing to worry about, you make shit up to worry about. That's what's going on.
That's why I hear a lot now. People will be like, "Oh, we need another war. This will straighten everything out." I'm like, "You sure about that?" Because
at this point, nobody can fight our war.
That's what I was like thinking. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna go the way you think it's gonna go, buddy. But
no, because we're gonna get destroyed now. We got nobody to fight anymore.
I don't know if my vote counts, but I vote no war. How about that? Let's try that. You know, but
yeah, I vote for taking care of ourselves, not getting involved in shit that has nothing to do with us.
I still can't fucking. Oh my god! Like, how the fuck did? What is it?
How is that accepted? Like, how are people okay watching that shit?
How are you like in charge of like directing like healthcare in this country?
How is she in charge of even? I wouldn't trust her to run a McDonald's. Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, I've heard other shit from this lady because we can't mislabel someone's gender because, according to the community guidelines, that constitutes hate speech. So that lady with a dick is in charge.
Well, I think she's got the head cut off now. It's just the shaft.
Is it really?
It's just burned off.
I don't like we're just dancing around. Like, we don't want to go too fucking hard and just get banned or whatever. Get our whole account shut down. Like, my God. There's some like kid in Silicon Valley that has like a master power switch. He has a flip and just kill like nuke codes. He can just like fucking end it all for us, you know? It's like, here you go.
These idiots don't believe black people are more affected by global warming. We must cancel them.
Yo, that miit be the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. That actually might be the dumbest shit.
One of the top 3 for sure.
You know,
can't think of anything worse right now. But it is bad.
Really, the statistic where they were like 65% of them reported being anxious about global.
Who did they ask? Like,
I know.
Where do these people come?
You know, that's one thing that's fucking crazy, right? Because like, I mean, I've like volunteered on like political campaigns in the past and shit, man. And like I went to school for political science, all this shit, man. Like I spent a lot of time like fucking dabbling in this shit. I have never in my life ever been asked to take a fucking poll. Not one single time. Not one time. And then like they're just like, oh well, a recent poll states. I'm like, who the fuck are they asking? Because that sure as fuck ain't me and the people that I work with.
I mean, they typically pick one. They'll go to like one college in one city and ask, and then that whatever they get off of that, they'll just say that's the statistic, and that counts for the whole generalization of people they're talking about.
Good God Almighty, man. Yeah, I don't know, man.
So yeah, surveys or percentages of the way people feel, take that shit with a grain of salt, because who knows?
I'm still surprised, man. They like that was like one thing, dude. Like when I got out of the military, like Biden had only been president, I think, for like 3 or 4 months, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember telling my friend was like, "Are you getting out?" It was before he was elected or whatever. And I was like, "Man, I'm like 80-20." I was like, if Trump wins again, I might fucking stay. But Biden got elected, and I was like, yo, fuck this. I did this under Obama. I am not doing this shit twice, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, I just got out or whatever, man. But, dude, as soon as he took office, it was night and day difference. We started getting all this shit pushed down. Like, it went from like making sure we had the, like, Trump was like, okay, we make sure you have the money you need, the equipment you need, like, everyone knows what they're doing, we're taking out these fucking dudes, like, we're securing this part of the world, X, Y, and Z or whatever, right? And then as soon as Biden got, like, elected, man, it was just like, our biggest issue is diversity and inclusion. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now? And then, like, trans serving in the military became a huge issue, man. And I was just like, yo, dog, like, this is less than, like, 1% of 1% of the population.
Yeah. And then even less of that that's in the military.
Why are we even having this conversation? Like, and it's like they forgot, like, we're in the business of, like, fucking killing people and national defense, you know? So it's just, I don't know, man. It was just like the pussification of, like, the armed forces, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, right before I got out, I had to sit through a briefing. The whole base got called in. Yeah. Base movie theater. Had a briefing on trans people in the military. Yeah. And everyone around me, we were looking at each other like, who the fuck is trans around here? Yeah. Back then, it was like, so that was probably like, that was like five years ago, I think, was when I did that shit. Yeah. So at that point, it was like not nearly, it wasn't just openly whatever. Yeah. So, and then they got onto the subject of paying for gender reassignment surgeries for people that was in the military. And we were like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Like, that's total bullshit. Yeah. So then that's this, like, all right, you're paying for school, all right. Don't pay to chop my dick off. Like, that's bullshit, man. But they got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah, dude. And then so that's when you started seeing, like, all these people that meet these, like, very niche demographics were getting, like, appointed, just like this, was it Admiral Rachel Levine, man, or whatever her name is. So it's just like, it's like, did you get that job on merit? I doubt it. You know what I mean? So they're like, we need a fat trans woman.
No.
This thing, pick it, we got it.
So I don't know, man. It's it makes me fucking wonder. I'm like, yo, like, I never felt like our enemies genuinely would probably laugh at us until the last like 3 years. You know what I mean? Then I was just like, oh fuck, okay, because you know he doesn't have these problems like Russia, China, like it's not even a discussion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, say what? Like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, they're putting together and disassembling AK-47s in elementary school. Like, have you seen those videos, dude? Yeah, dude. Like, whole classrooms of, like, 7-year-old Chinese kids pulling that shit apart. The Russians are timing that stuff, like you said. Like,
Al-Qaeda's out there on monkey bars in the desert.
Our goddamn kids are watching Minecraft videos sucking Cheetos through a straw. Like, oh. Yeah, ma'am, ham sandwich, ma'am.
Ma'am, bathroom.
Shit bucket.
Shitting all over and stuff.
Well, she was like, oh, that's a nice poopsiekins or whatever.
Some shit like that. That's when they like became addicted to World of Warcraft. Yeah. Like, could not get off the computer or whatever. They're like, we got to kill 3 million boars or whatever
to level up. And they were playing against that fucking fat dude that was like, oh.
That was such a good episode, man. Mom, toilet.
But yeah, that's what the majority of kids in America are like now.
Dog. I don't know.
And then if you think they're going to be able to fight in a war, they can't even, like, tie their own shoes and shit.
Well, it's like, I think a lot of it, too, is, like, we just don't have, like, for the younger generation, I just feel like we don't have, like, real heroes anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, think about it. Like,
a child's hero is a fucking YouTube influencer.
Yes. Yeah, man. Like, you know, back in the day, like, I mean, pick whatever, like, you know, field you want, whether it's, like, you know, fucking, I don't know, like, we'll say, like, acting, for example. I mean, there was, like say, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger influenced an entire generation to be in the gym and to be, like, work out and be, like, masculine and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and you just don't have shit like that anymore or whatever. Like, or you would have people that did amazing things.
He's hated on.
Yeah.
Because he cares about his appearance. Mm. Like, people shit on people for going to the gym now.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works?
Fine with me, man. There's just going to be, I'll live better than fat blobs in a fucking chair. So.
Yeah, dude. I feel like all of this shit is going to come full circle by the time you and I hit retirement age.
Yeah. It's going to suck, though. We're going to be too old. We're going to have to, I'll be like, I wish this would have happened when we were younger.
I think it's going to be like the 50s all over again, just with a lot of badass technology. Yeah, like, that's all it's going to be. And we're never going to talk about, like, the dark, like, 30-year period or something, you know, like, in American history. Like, it'll be like no one speaks of the before time.
It'll be like Germany never teaching about World War II.
We don't speak about the before time, you know? So, But I don't fucking know, man. I just feel like, like kids probably fucking need heroes more than anything today, whether it's like, and it's like, it used to, like, you used to be able to find that shit like in sports athletes too, man. And it's like, you don't really see that anymore because like now those sports athletes are like virtue signaling. They're like, yeah, like, it'll be like some dude who makes like fucking $8 million a year being like, I'm sick and tired of like the racial oppression. It's like, shut the fuck up, dog.
Prince Harry.
Yeah. Prince Harry, Meghan Merkel. We want our privacy. We want our privacy. Like just chanting it around. Yeah, we just want to be left alone. And they're doing all these interviews and shit and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, do you? I don't know. That's going to be a funny short when that shit comes out.
Did you have a hero when you were a kid?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I had a few, man, but I was like more into like science and stuff like that, man. It was more stuff like that, man. Like I really was like cool. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like cliche and stuff, but like you look at shit like Neil Armstrong, like first dude to walk on the moon, right? Like, and it's just like, yo, that was an American. Like I remember being a kid and like feeling proud about that shit and being like, and then like thinking, be like human ingenuity, like American ingenuity figured this out, and I just like,
well. Nazi war criminals. Germans figured it out for us, but they weren't on American soil.
We gave them citizenship. Those were Americans. Okay.
Did they cross the border the legal way?
And then like I don't know, you would see stuff, and then like I feel like like a lot of people shit on like Elon Musk, but I feel like a lot more kids could probably look up to that fucking dude and be like, look what you've achieved. Look what you have done. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, but I like people that that build empires. And then when I got older, man, I started like in my 20s and stuff. I started reading more like biographies, and like a lot of people I became like very fascinated by were like people who built essentially empires. Yeah. Like Cornelius Vanderbilt. At one point, I think he owned like 95% of the railroads in America, connected east to west. There was John Rockefeller Sr., who started Standard Oil. Like, I mean, I know all these guys have stuff in their past that could piss people off today, but it's just these dudes.
But they still started and built a huge empire. Yeah,
and it's like William Boeing, like he made Boeing like the airplane company, right? And it's just like if you go back and look at like some of the stuff he did in history, it's pretty amazing, especially when it ties into like wartime stuff, or like Henry Ford, creating like the Ford Motor Company, and then eventually creating the assembly lines. And he came out with like at one point was like the fastest car in the world, and it was a huge underdog story. But anyway, so I attached on to people like that and was just like, like at the end of the day, like ingenuity and perseverance like excelled these guys to a whole nother level. Yeah. And that I feel like is what people strive to do in the past. Like I want to build something, I want to be self-made, I want to change, I want to shape the world to some way, and then now it's just like I want to be an influencer, and I get offended by everything everyone says, and because I can't achieve something, I'm going to be a victim. And that is why people will listen to me. They won't listen to me because I achieved something. They will listen to me because I am by default a victim. I am something else.
So by taking the easy way out, basically whoever hollers the loudest gets seen.
Yes. So in my opinion, I could be dead fucking wrong. And I don't have kids, so like, I'm like whatever, So I'm usually just like driving, listening to like shitty podcasts, and I'm gonna get mad about shit that doesn't really affect me, like, oh goddamn Taiwan, like,
we gotta protect them. They made my rug.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know. I could go on for it, but
But like as far as nowadays, we have Elon that is like a known like creator. But who else? I mean, we have, I guess Sam Altman could be considered one.
Sam Altman, yeah. If you really want to get like into tech stuff,
because other than that, like where like what else are we doing? Like what else? Where can we go from here that isn't like science and technology based?
I don't know. I mean, there's also like not any like good rock stars anymore. Remember when rock stars used to be cool? Yeah. Like in the 70s, everyone was like, fuck yeah, I love Jimmy Page and like fucking Led Zeppelin, let's do this. And then now it's
like
just
they have like million people concerts and shit.
Yeah, dude, have you listened to the radio recently?
No, I don't listen to the radio.
Oh my god, dude, it is like, it's all trash. It is all dog shit, man. And then, like back in the day, like rock stars, I mean, they would like rent out an entire floor in a hotel and like literally just like throw sofas on fire outside of windows.
Well, that's because they didn't have to put down a credit card back then. They had the anonymity of just destroying shit.
And then now it's just like, try that in a small town.
I mean, now they're gonna get fucking arrested for that shit.
Who was that country singer that was
Jason
Aldean? He was like, try that in a small town. He's like, and I don't think the guy's a particularly bad guy or anything like that. I just don't really care for his music. And I just thought it was funny. Like, he was saying that shit, and he was trying to relate to like small town, like middle class Americans in the South, I guess you could say. And then he like turns around and gets on like probably like a $9 million private jet, and it's just like living this like luxurious lifestyle. And he's just like,
yeah, but I mean, they all do that. Every rapper is like, I came from the gutters on the street, and then they have like $300,000 on a necklace alone, like,
getting in a Bentley after the show and driving off, so
going back to their $15 million mansion.
Oh man, but I don't know. I guess to kind of go back to what we were talking about a little bit. I don't know if we're.
But is that just what we've evolved into as a society? Like, has music been done? Has mechanics, like that aspect of shit, been done? And now we're just all in the science of technology? Like,
I don't know. I really don't know, man.
Because music, I mean, there eventually will. I mean, like, I remember. Like, what is the new... Well, there's always new genres of music being created.
Yeah.
But there's still... At this point, they're kind of like either mashes of previous genres or like... I don't know, because I listen to a lot of like weird-ass shit.
Yeah.
I won't say that it's good, but I like it. So...
Well, I will say this, man. Like, one of the like college like bars/restaurants that I go to or whatever, they have like those little like iTunes like jukeboxes or whatever. You can just like get on your phone and play music. Dude, it's a lot of like Journey, Def Leppard, Foreigner, stuff like that. Like, it's classic rock, man. And there's like not any of that like around right now. That sounds like that. And so I think the younger generation like really wants. I mean, they're just classics. Like, it's just like, that's good music. I mean, you just can't deny it. Like, it's good.
I'll listen to it at a bar, but I would literally never listen to that shit on my own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, different folks, different strokes, different tastes. But I think like overall, I mean, you have also a very unique like taste in music, because from what I've heard some of your stuff, I'm just like, my God, what is this? Like, it's crazy.
I will openly admit that most people would be like, dude, your shit is fucking retarded. So I'm cool with that. But I don't know, man. Like, you're right. There's no, I don't know. Maybe there isn't like any.
There's no good music.
No, like, because even in the fucking 90s, like, shit was stupid, but you can't deny it. Like, the boy band era, like, that was still a thing. Like,
yeah. And that shit's even coming back too, man. Like, really? I go out, man. People will be playing like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. Like, it's mostly girls will get on there and just do all that shit.
Oh, but they probably grew up with that shit though.
Dog, it's like 21, 22-year-old girls. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. The boys are coming back, bro. The boys coming back. They want it that way. They're getting it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Spike your hair up, you good.
I think I'm about to cut it a little bit. Because if I spike it up right now, I just look like fucking Rick from Rick and Morty. It literally just goes outwards and shit. I look like a crazy-ass scientist. But anyway, man. You want to move on to the next topic we want to talk about?
We
gotta address this. You might actually know a little bit more about this than me, man. I don't know. You want to take the lead on it, or you want me to go with this?
Yeah, we'll just watch the fucking video first and then talk about it.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
God damn it.
The prominent...
I'm about to reset that shit. Cut again. Fuck you.
International outrage over the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. The prominent critic of Vladimir Putin died today in a Russian penal colony where he was serving a 19-year prison term on politically motivated charges. CBS's Weijia Jiang is at the White House where the president is blaming Putin.
President Biden says he's outraged over the death of Alexei Navalny, a fierce political rival of Vladimir Putin. Russian officials claim 47-year-old Navalny collapsed after a short walk inside a Siberian prison and died shortly after.
Make no mistake, Putin is responsible for Navalny's death.
The president praised Navalny for fighting against the corruption that ultimately claimed his life.
He was so many things that Putin was not. He was brave. He was principled.
Just yesterday, Navalny appeared well during a video-linked court appearance, even laughing and making jokes with the judge. Navalny grew popular after he ran for mayor of Moscow in 2012 and denounced the election as rigged. He called Putin's party one of crooks and thieves, but his courage to speak out was costly. In 2017, he was assaulted with a green dye that left a serious chemical burn in his right eye. 2 years later, he was jailed for organizing unauthorized protests, then suddenly became sick. Navalny suspected he was poisoned with a nerve agent. And in 2020, doctors confirmed he was poisoned again after he plunged into fits of agony aboard a flight, forced to make an emergency landing in Siberia. After making a dramatic recovery, Navalny told 60 Minutes he was certain who was to blame.
You have said you think that Mr. Putin's responsible.
I don't think, I'm sure that he's responsible.
Mourners across Russia paid their respects, though Moscow officials warned against protesting. In 2022, Navalny made a video to his millions of followers in case he turned up dead. If they decide to kill me, he said, it means that we are incredibly strong. Hours after his death was reported, Navalny's wife Yulia spoke at a security conference in Germany, where many world leaders are gathered. She told them she almost canceled her appearance, but then thought about what he would have done in her place. On Wednesday, Navalny posted a Valentine's Day message to her, writing, "I feel that you are with me every second, and I love you more and more." Tonight, President Biden says the U.S. is considering a number of options for consequences in response to Navalny's death. He also says he hopes that it will convince House Republicans to pass more aid to Ukraine, which has been at war with Russia for nearly 2 years.
Okay.
God damn it. You want to start?
Yeah, dude, I'm about to explode. Dude, what in the fuck does that have to do? Why do we care about it, first off? No shit, it was Putin that did it. Right. Why are they acting like he's a good guy and this is like a fucking how can first time this happened? How can you fucking kill somebody who opposed him politically?
Yeah, dude. All right, well, let's kind of like poke holes in this, right? They're just alleging that Putin did this, okay? Did he do it? Probably, right?
I'm gonna say 97.9.
There's a lot of people that love Putin in that country. All the oligarchs receive their money because Putin runs that government like a fucking gangster, dude, right? And he keeps them in control of like industries and stuff like that, and they're very wealthy because of it. Any of those fucking Russian oligarch billionaires could have been trying to cap that dude and be like, shut him up, right? So, I don't know, playing devil's advocate, let's say Putin didn't fucking do it, right? And then, like, you have the president of the United States saying, oh, we're considering a number of actions to take against the Russian government because of Alexei's death. It's like, he may not have even done it, dude. He probably did, but like I'm saying, like, you don't know.
But even then, who cares if he did it or not, dude? He killed a Navalny. He was a Russian person who opposed Putin.
Yeah.
And he died. What the fuck does that have to do with us? Why is Biden using that as ammunition to go against Ukraine? He's like, whoops, see, I told you he's a bad guy. He killed his fucking opponent.
Yeah.
We need to help out Ukraine. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, dude. And then it's like, and now they're throwing in, they're like, oh, this is why we're going to consider getting more funding for Ukraine. He's just using that. He's putting that shit on. I bet my left nut Putin probably didn't do it. He probably didn't. He probably wanted it to happen. Didn't get in the way of stopping it. But he was just like, you know what? Fuck it, take the guy out. And then Biden and his fucking merry gang and thugs looks onto this shit and they're like, oh, this is how we can get more funding.
They're like, perfect opportunity.
Boom. Oh, here we go, right? God damn it, dude. I don't know. Yeah, it's all fucking dirty. You don't even know what to believe anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
at the end of the day,
even if he did it,
who cares? Why do they care? Why should I care?
It's like that Dave Chappelle skit where he's talking about Michael Jackson. He's like, even if he did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who gives a shit? It's some dude.
He was already on a 19-year prison sentence. He was never going to make it out of there anyway.
Yeah, it's
fucking
like
Siberia.
I mean, it's unfortunate, right?
It's sad.
when you're making videos about like if they kill me, that's when you got to really ask yourself like, fuck, dude, you know.
But man, like.
But that ain't us, man. That ain't our fucking problem.
Why are we like? I don't even understand why the average American person would be like, damn, we gotta send money to Ukraine now.
I bet my left nut, dude. Most fucking dudes never even heard that guy's name until the other day.
No.
Exactly. It's like, and you know how many fucking dictators there are around the world? You know how often this shit happens?
Do you know how many people the Kremlin, the Russian government kills daily?
Yeah,
come on,
dude, it's like, come on. Bro, we've even fucking, like, toppled governments and shit like that. We've taken motherfuckers out. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's their fucking business. Is it All right, let's just take it for face value and say Putin did all this shit. Is it fucked up? Absolutely, it's fucked up. It's wrong. But at the same time, that ain't our fucking problem.
No. Why are we caring about one guy? Yeah. If anything, if we really cared, we should be trying to get that fucking journalist that they have still over there. Like, get our own people back.
Oh, there's a fucking good idea with that one, right? So,
you don't see Biden up there bitching about that.
Yeah, man. God damn it, bro. Like that little last part, like when they're like, oh, we're going to try to use this essentially to like get more funding for Ukraine. Like, why do we keep sending money to fucking Ukraine? Like, stop doing that. Stop. And they're like, oh, like tensions with Russia are getting high. No shit, Sherlock.
They've been high.
No shit. You keep moving NATO's border closer to his, and you keep funding all his enemies, whatever you want to call them. And of course he's going to be fucking pissed. What the fuck would we do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
if Russia moved into Canada and was like, "Hey, we're not gonna harm you, but we're gonna start building forces up."
Yeah, these
we
missile
might get a little irritated.
Yeah, these missile sites aren't for you guys. They're just to keep the Brits at bay. Yeah, but we're just gonna set it over here in like Canada.
Canada's ours, but don't worry, we're not gonna touch you guys.
Yeah, that's literally all we're doing. Like, fuck. That's why I liked RFK Jr. on his thoughts on that shit. He was just like, "Yo, if you really like think about it historically, then you can understand why that dude is so fucking skeptical of anything the U.S. government says, and why he's probably fucking pissed all the time." So, but also, I don't think Putin's a good guy, man. I think he's a bad dude.
So why are people shocked that he killed some dude? Like, again, like why do people care? Why are they surprised?
Oh.
What does it matter?
Shit, it was like, remember that? That kind of reminds me. Remember when Kim Jong Un's brother got fucking capped?
Yeah.
The guy was like a goofball too. Like, I think he was like living in Hawaii for a while. He was like in America for like a long time. And he was just like this big old heavy-set Korean dude, always wore like Hawaiian shirts, was like always drinking and just living it up, just having a good time. And then some motherfuckers rolled up on a motorcycle one day and just fucking capped his ass. I think they poisoned him. I think they hit him with some poison. They never found the people who did it or whatever. But yeah, it took his ass out. It was like right after their dad died or whatever. Because I think he wanted to make sure his brother wasn't going to try to come back and claim anything. Yeah. So, yeah, but apparently his brother had always like spoken out against like North Korea. I was like, that place sucks. He was like, Hawaii's way better, dude. I don't know.
Like, I'm never going back to that shithole.
Yeah, fuck that. Seen that
Can't even get a damn cheeseburger over there. You gotta fly that shit
in. I watched that fucking movie, The Interview, since the last time we recorded.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it just had me thinking about that interview Carlson did with Putin or whatever, and I was just like, bro, there had to be something like... I'm sure Tucker Carlson was very professional, but like, I don't know. Like, if I went there, like, I'd just be like goofy about it, I don't know. Like,
Tucker's pretty goofy anyway. I'm sure he was cutting up, like
trying to make jokes and shit.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to like cut like our kind of jokes to like in front of like Putin, and then he just has a straight face and never smiles, and we're like, all right.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
All right, you want to get down to the interview? What if he's just a really cool dude? Like, like as soon as the cameras are off and like no one's really around, and he's like, oh,
like,
God.
As soon as he knows he doesn't have to put on
like he can take his work helmet off or whatever, then take off his jacket. He's like, oh my God. He's like, guys, you know how difficult this is? He's got like tears in his eyes and shit. He's just
like, I haven't smiled on camera in 16 years.
To be able to understand how tough this job really is. You know what I really wanted to do? I wanted to dance. Like some shit, like you wanted to be a theater kid or something. It'd just be like cool as fuck. You just like drink. I bet if he does like party like privately, it's probably very like locked down behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But I bet they're dope as fuck, man.
I mean, he's rich as shit, so he probably does whatever he wants to.
It's probably like fine ass fucking vodka and like beautiful women, like probably like some like Olympic dance. I don't know, whatever. Like some like the national Russian ballet team or something is there, whatever, you know. And he's just like getting fucked up with them and shit. If he gets too fucked up and shares a state secret, they just go away.
Yeah, he just kills the entire room.
But yeah, but that Alexei dude, man, I can't believe, man, he locked that motherfucker up in a penal labor camp in the Arctic Circle, dog. Fuck that, man. I mean, I've been to Fairbanks, Alaska, and seen that shit in like January, February time. That's cold. You want to go a few hundred miles fucking north past that? That's a whole different kind of cold, brother. That's like negative 80s and shit like that hitting you up there, man. Like on the colder nights and stuff, man. So fuck that, man. Because the coldest I ever saw it was like negative 69, and I thought I was gonna die. Like as soon as I walked outside, I was like, "Dude, fuck this, man." I don't understand. I don't know how animals live in that shit. Anyway, but that's a whole like sidebar, like ADHD going on that one, dude.
Hey, what's that shit they always post? If you're cold, they're cold too.
It's a fucking polar bear walking outside.
He's like, fuck, man, it finally feels good out here.
I was sweating my balls off all summer.
I'm ready to eat.
Well, shit, man. Speaking of politics and stuff like that, man, you want to go on to like the Greg Abbott story, man? We can just end on that real quick.
Yeah, we need to get that out real quick because it is.
This is actually
pretty important.
It's good, I think.
Yeah. So,
stop dealing with like international politics and shit.
Bring it closer to home.
Yeah.
Speed racer.
He looks like he's
Thank everybody for being here today. I'm joined by General Seltzer and the Border Czar, Mike Banks. I want to explain to you what Texas is doing at this time to expand our border security capabilities. We are building a new Texas Military Department base camp that allows the Texas National Guard to increase and to improve operations in this area. What you see now is the first stage of construction has already begun on what is 80 acres of an area to be built out for this base camp.
Damn.
From your camera view, it goes all the way down the edge of here to those trees, all the way to the back, close to where the river is. On this side, just back behind you, about 50 feet is where it stops. This will increase the ability for a larger number of Texas Military Department personnel in Eagle Pass to operate more effectively and more efficiently. It will house up to 1,800 soldiers with the ability to expand up to 2,300 if we have surge needs. It will include individual rooms for soldiers. It'll provide a large dining facility, recreation, computers, things like Wi-Fi. But before now,
this is straight up.
The National Guard have been scattered across this entire region in cramped quarters, away from fellow soldiers and guard, sometimes traveling long distances to be able to do their job. What this is going to do is to dramatically improve the conditions for our soldiers.
Yeah, that's like a 20-minute video, but you get the general gist of it off that couple
Whenever
of minutes.
you start talking about single rooms, that's a full-on base.
Yeah, that's you plan on people having people there for a minute.
Yeah,
and you're not going to put that much money into infrastructure and just have it be like a fly-by-night place or whatever. Because if they're going to do that, then they're just going to build tents.
Tents, yeah.
You know, so but if they're pouring concrete and shit, they got no intention of leaving anytime soon. That's interesting, man. Damn, bro, that southern border's getting fucking wild, dude.
And he this is a very this is a quick thing, like for him to just come out and be like, "Yo, we're starting a fucking base at Eagle Pass because this is some bullshit."
Before he even like announced it to anyone, he's like, "We've already started pouring concrete.
Yeah,
like this is happening."
Sorry if I'm a little muffled by the sound of the concrete going back
like
there, but
bulldozers in the background
now.
Dude, talk about a hell of a deterrence too, man. I bet that shit's gonna be nice when it's built, though.
Probably so.
It'd be kind of cool to check that shit out.
So he said 1,800 normally, but it can take up to 2,300 people.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Shit.
That's still a lot of fucking people, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not by any means like some of the bases that we've seen, like where it can house like tens of thousands of people, but like you know.
But I mean, for something, and you know they're gonna have this shit up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is exciting. This is a good future, man. I don't know, man. It kind of makes me wonder, like, is this going to deter, like, illegal immigration? You know, like, are people going to be like, hey, at least as far as Texas goes, we don't need to be crossing that border?
It has. It's already deterred it by a lot. Just having the forces that have already down there, it's already dropped it by a pretty heavy percentage.
We're just going to go to California, Arizona, New Mexico, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's good. So, I don't know, man. But, I mean, it's definitely interesting to say the least. I wonder if he'll build more in the future, or if it's just going to be this one.
I don't know.
You know,
hopefully it's just I don't know, just do the one and that should deter him enough. I mean, as long as I don't know, it's already having a deterrence as it is. Yeah. So with the added base, the added forces on it, I think it'll make everything easier. But at the end of the day, like, they're just going to go to Arizona and California.
Sure.
So, but I guess if we can just direct them, they're going to have to go sideways more.
Well, like, eventually, we just keep, like, building that wall, and it just keeps going around Texas or whatever. It gets into, like, goes by New Mexico and, like, Oklahoma, eventually down to, like, Arkansas and Louisiana and shit. It's just like, all right, we're good. We're done. And, you know, what if he starts building, like, military bases, like, on the border of Oklahoma? We're just a little skeptical of what the future might hold, guys. You know. Hey, but whatever, man. I'm optimistic. We'll see.
Start having checkpoints.
It's definitely
in Oklahoma.
It's definitely a huge show of force too, man. To like the federal government, because remember, like they were trying to get on the back, they're trying to strong arm.
He was like, razor wire. I'm gonna fuck you. I'm building a base out here now.
Dude, that's literally how I interpret that. Is like the ultimate fuck you is like, I'm just gonna build a fucking base. How about that? How about that? Like, none of that bullshit you put up. It's going to be some permanent. We are running Ethernet. Like, we have got this shit in line, dude. We are good. Elon Musk is helping us right now.
Already installing next-gen Starlink satellites in every fucking room.
Oh, man. Yeah, whatever. So, it'll be good, man, right?
Yeah. Optimistic. Keeping it positive.
Here we go.